What is up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this beautifully honest reaction. Now, I actually saw this video in my feed several days ago. And when I saw it, I said, you know what? I wonder what he's talking about. And this is about Armon Wiggins because I saw this video. It was in my feed. And at the time when I saw it, the title of the video, and I could have some of the words wrong, but basically it was saying, if you see this video, stop and watch this, or this is for you if you see this, watch this video, something along those lines. But he's since changed the title of the video to have it be titled, Stop Letting Them Gaslight You. So I mean, when I saw the video initially, like I said, it had a different title. And then when I was listening to it, I was like, to me, it sounds like he's talking about the TGIF situation and, possibly even Al Reynolds, because we know that he and Claudia have pretty much either insinuated or directly stated that Al was the reason for the cancellation of the show. And for those of you who haven't listened to my commentary on it, I pretty much broke down my opinion, because all I can do is share my opinion. I don't know any of these individuals, never been associated with any of them, never been affiliated with Fox Soul or the show or any content over there. So all I can do is share my opinions based on what I have seen. And I pretty much shared my thoughts on all three of them individually and how I felt like they all contributed to the demise of the show. So if you haven't listened to that commentary, you can check that out. And I posted that last week. But anyway, I'm going to play some of this and just give my reaction to it because I already listened to it. Like I said, when I saw it, it had a different title. So it was supposed to be, and I guess it not even supposed to be, I guess his intentions for the video is to be uplifting and inspiring and, and to promote the feelings of positivity in light of negative circumstances and situations. And honestly, I can say that, yeah, I could definitely understand why you would feel that way after losing out on an opportunity where you were making, I'm assuming, I don't know how much he was making, but based on what the others have been either quoted as making or alleged to have been making, he was making at least six figures for about an hour or so of work a day. And that's honestly obscene, but it is what it is. So to have that opportunity for a few months and then lose out on it, I'd share my thoughts too. I don't fault him for talking about it, but I want to play some of this and give my reactions to it because I felt like he was talking about Al. And you can let me know what you think. And I actually think, I didn't listen to it, but I think there was another content creator that was talking about it. And I'll just go ahead and say his name. I didn't listen to his commentary because one, like I said, I saw this video several days ago. And at the time, the video title was Stop, if you see this video, watch this video. This is for you or something along those lines. But he changed the title to it being Stop Letting Them Gaslight You. So I think that content creator, I think his name is AT2, he was talking about it. But I didn't listen to his commentary because I have, I already had the video and I wanted to listen to it from my perspective and listen to what he was saying and share my thoughts on what he was saying. So if you have already listened to it, that's great. But I just, again, wanted to share this. So let's just go ahead and get into it. The video itself is about 30 minutes long. So I'll put the full video link in the description box if you want to listen to the entirety of it. But I'm not going to do that right now.
Stop letting those people gaslight you. That person is now cut off. You guys got to get to a point where when people don't want to take accountability for how you feel, and it's only about how they feel, and when you're explaining how you feel, they rebuttal you about how they feel or how you made them feel, they're gaslighting you. If a person really cared about you, if a person really cared about their friendship, their relationship, their business relationship with you, their personal relationship with you, they're going to hear you. They're going to hear you out. They're going to pay attention to you. They're going to take accountability. They're not going to respond to you with what you did to hurt them. At least not in first response. And you know what I can't take? I can't take a person that doesn't have an issue with me until I have an issue with them.
I'm pausing it there for a moment. Like I said, this is just my opinion, but I feel like he's talking about Al Reynolds. And the reason I say that is you heard what he just said. People who don't have an issue with you until you have an issue with them. You had an issue with them first, and then when they know that you have an issue with them, then they have an issue with you. Because I remember watching the show here and there and even reading the comment section, and there were a lot of people, there were more than a few, I will say, that were saying things about Al being condescending or disrespectful to Armon and not respecting him as an individual because he would call him boy and he would always disagree with him. And it was a lot of that being seen. And it's possible that he saw those comments, meaning Al and Armon may have had a conversation with him to let him know, look, I'm not really feeling how you are speaking to me. Again, I don't know. I'm just basically saying. So it's possible that if Armon was expressing his dissent for Al and the way he was with him, then it could have, possibly put Al on guard to start having an issue with him. Or he already had an issue with him, but then he outwardly would start to express it, possibly to upper management, to HR. I don't know, but that's what I'm picking up, what Armon is putting down in his commentary. But again, those are just my thoughts.
Case in point. If I have an issue with you never taking out the trash or talking too much when I'm talking or I don't know, anything, and then your issue all of a sudden, oh, well, you don't take out the trash all the time or you don't clean the refrigerator. Now I have an issue because instead of saying, you know what, I was supposed to take out the trash, I didn't take out the trash. Now all of a sudden, I don't clean the refrigerator. It's like, well, if you felt some type of way about me cleaning the refrigerator, why did you wait until I had an issue with you about taking out the trash? Don't wait until I have an issue with you for something that you know you were supposed to do to then have an issue with me. Because your issue with me was not that serious until you had to take accountability for the issue that I had with you. You're gaslighting me.
Again, like I said, I don't think this is just some random stuff that he's talking about. I believe it has everything to do with Al and the demise of the show.
I don't like people that gaslight me. It triggers me because I'm the type of person, and if you're anything like me, you know it's really easy to fall into a space where you become the problem, or somehow you were unfair, or somehow you've offended somebody. I'm so tired of this BS of everybody else being offended and everybody else being able to treat you a certain kind of way. However, when it's done to them in return, it's like the world has ended.
Again, I feel like it goes back to Al. The roast, he said he was okay with it. He absolutely loved it. It was ratchet and he loved it. He said that on air. And then behind the scenes and calling up Funky Dineva, did you see that bleep, blah, 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 blah. I don't care if I'm on live. You need to hear this. I don't give a F. So that's why none of them are innocent. None of them. And honestly, nobody who likes to be gaslit. Who likes to be gaslit? That's a new term that's used in the past few years now. It's not something that we never really heard that term being used probably before the last couple of years. But nobody likes that. It's not enjoyable for anyone to deal with people like that or be put in situations like that. So of course you don't like being gaslit. Who does?
If you've ever been in that situation, you are me, I'm you, and this is why we connect, because people are full of shit. They like literally are. Like, people are full of shit. And they will literally sit there and try to make it seem like you're crazy, you're tripping, you got something else going on, or you're somehow unfair, or you're not listening, or you're not being sincere, or you're not leading with empathy, or you don't have any compassion, or you're not emotionally coherent enough to understand both sides of the story. Nah, I understand, but in this moment, you got me f***ed up and you need to correct it. I don't want to hear how I made you feel, because up until I had an issue, you didn't have an issue with me.
Or he didn't voice he had an issue with him. And again, it's possible Al didn't voice the issue that he had with him, because when someone has a heart full of envy and jealousy, they're usually not going to voice their concerns or their issues, quote unquote, with an individual immediately, because it's all, automatically going to make them look like a hater, which they probably are. So they will wait for some things to pan out, for some time to pass by, and then start voicing things and concerns and addressing issues, quote unquote, that they're having with the individual, when in all honesty, the issue that they really have is within themselves. And that's why I said Al is no angel in this situation. I hate to be the bearer of bad news for the people who feel like Al is just this, white angel who's, floating above the drama. Absolutely not. He is not. I see him as the messy individual that I talked about in my commentary. I'm not going to go back into that. But yeah, I can see Armon's points. I really do. Again, it doesn't make me say that Armon did not contribute in any way to anything, but no, I'm not going to say that he was 100% at fault and Al was the innocent bystander who I believe that, honestly, I do believe that Al is one of those people that can gaslight, so much so that he would actually burn the whole bleak down, even if it affected him, as long as it injured and hurt the others that he has an issue with. I personally feel that way. That's my personal opinion.
If you have an issue with me, then you let me know what your issue is before I let you know what my issue is with you. Because I didn't wait for you to have an issue with me to have an issue with you. You know what I mean? And so, if you've ever been in those situations, I learned with these type of people that like to gaslight and not take accountability, eventually you have to cut them off, because they will literally sit there and have you thinking that you're crazy. I remember I was dating this guy one time, and he used to gaslight me all the time. He used to be a cheater. He used to be a liar, manipulator. And then somehow, because I would tell him, like, things that I had dealt with in my personal life prior to him, like in my family, my friends, and my previous relationships, he would use those things against me. When I'm like, well, are you cheating? And I know I've seen the text messages. I know I've seen you talking to the man. I know I've seen these things. Armon, you're being insecure. It's not what you thought. We are just friends. Everything is not an issue. You make an issue out of everything. You're just hyper. Maybe you have ADHD. It got so bad, I went and took Adderall and Vyvanse so that I could calm my nerves, because this man had me thinking. He gaslit me so bad and had me thinking that it was all in my head.
Ooh, that's something. Well, hopefully the job didn't have him taking any meds, but yeah, people will do things like that to flip the script and deflect, and they're the guilty parties, but they'll flip it out on you and make you like you're not doing anything wrong, but they could be so convincing that you start questioning yourself. Well, hey, did I cheat? When you know you didn't, but then you start questioning yourself. That there are people that are so manipulative masterfully that they could cause you to start second guessing yourself.
They spook up and play victim. They're really good at manipulating the public, manipulating like the public perception. Gaslighters are very good at manipulation. Hell, I mean, they're able to manipulate you. So if they can manipulate you, they can manipulate them. And so what ends up happening is they get you so far lit where you explode, and then they go and manipulate the people around you, either in your inner circle or on the internet or in your family. And they sit in back and play coy and play confused.
You can't tell me he's not talking about Al. You cannot tell me this is not about Al that he is talking about. You know, like everything that he's speaking about, I just picture it with the TGIF demise, the roast. You do that in public, and then Al acts coy and innocent, and you know, and then is saying what he's saying and doing what he's doing behind the scenes. Like that's all I can see. I can't unsee it.
Meanwhile, you know exactly what happened. You know exactly what the issue is. However, because they don't want to take accountability, they would much rather sit in a space of being the victim. And I never understood that. And so manipulators and gaslighters are very, very dangerous people to have in your life, because they will have you in a sense of confusion and anger and turmoil all the time around the clock. And you never know at any moment where you'll fall in between the three.
That is very true. I mean, listen, if somebody's right, they're right. And it is dangerous to be around people like that. 100%.
Can't be around those people. A lot of people have this thing with them where they feel like, I'm not going to let you feel like you checked me. I'm not going to let you feel like you told me what to do. I'm not going to let you feel like you put me in your place. I didn't put you in your place. I just asked you and told you how you should be treating me. I set a boundary. See, gaslighters and manipulators, they don't like boundaries. They only like the boundary when it's set by them, but they don't expect you to set boundaries for yourself. And when you start to do that, they start to play these mind games as if you're a problematic person, as if you're an unhinged person, as if you're confrontational, angry. They do that at the job. You're angry, disrespectful. Have you ever been on a job where you're like, no, I'm a little passionate because you're not listening to me. You're not even trying to understand me. They start gaslighting you at the workplace, and then all of a sudden you find out that you're angry. Well, I just didn't know. I didn't really want to, I couldn't really talk to you. Then all of a sudden you have meetings with HR, you're here, you're there. Then all of a sudden, we didn't know. We couldn't really talk to you. We were just so nervous that you were going to be angry.
Child. Yeah. This is definitely about Al. This is definitely about TGIF. For sure. 100%. How many jobs has Armon had in his lifetime? Really, because he's a young guy, and I don't believe that he's had like a ton of different jobs where he went through situations like that. I just don't. I don't.
We couldn't really talk to you. We were just so nervous that you were going to be angry. Nah, bitch, I'm not angry. I'm very present. I'm passionate, but you're not going to gaslight me and try to make it seem like I'm angry. You're not listening to me. And when I'm telling you what's going on, you're ignoring it. And somehow it's leaning to me. That used to happen to me all the time when I worked in corporate. That's when I was like, you know what? I can't do this. Because these people will sit up here and gaslight you all the way to a meeting where you're with HR, you got your union rep. It's a whole thing. And then they have that corporate jargon, well, the per this and per that, and, and they use all those buzzwords about uncomfortable and safety and feeling safe. You know what I mean? And you're thinking, do not play with me. Now all of a sudden you don't feel safe. You don't feel heard. You don't feel seen. But yet you done stirred up all this damn drama. Or I done came to you and told you what was going on and you don't remember none of this that's going on. You don't hear anything that's going on. But now that I'm a little passionate, all of a sudden you don't feel safe or seen and I'm angry.
Child, listen, yeah, he's talking about Al, and listen, some people feel like that's the kin side of Al, because, Al he's biracial, he is, and, some people, they have said Claudia, she has that Karen side, so some people feel like that's that kin side, or that Clark side, or whatever they want to call it, but either way, yeah, I personally feel that he's 100% talking about Al. Two, like I said, I feel like all of them have to take accountability in what they have contributed to the demise of the show. And I ultimately also just have to say this. Armon, he's probably one of those people that there's some people that have to be entrepreneurs. They cannot work in anyone else's company or organization, because he has had a number, from what we can see, even if they weren't tons of them, he's had a number of different fallings out with others, and very public, somewhat burning bridges. And so yeah, he's probably going to have to be one of those people that will have to be an entrepreneur, really has no choice but to be. But ultimately, if you really want to grow as an entrepreneur and being a boss, if you really want to grow, you have to have a team. So you're going to have to learn how to lead, and learn how to lead professionally as well as passionately. It can't just be, because then you can get into the situations where people see you as that type of person that you're discussing, being the gaslighter or being the one making someone feel unsafe or whatever. We just have to really always be cognizant of that, because I'm speaking from the space of being the leader of an organization, having a company where I am an entrepreneur and I do have employees. In order for a business to grow, you have to have other people working with you and having people on your team. No man is an island. So you just have to be aware of those spaces in business, because yeah, for those companies and organizations and corporate and whatnot, yeah, they have to have those guidelines and things in place, because they have to protect their best interests. We live in the USA, right? People sue for almost any and everything, especially when it comes down to these companies, because for the most part, companies don't sue people. People sue companies and organizations because they got the money, they got the insurance policies. Like, let's just be real. Yeah, smaller people, they do sometimes get sued by the companies, mainly like debts and, stuff like that when people owe money, mainly. But for the most part, when it comes to situations like what he's discussing, HR issues and all that other stuff, the companies aren't suing the people. They may fire them, they may terminate them, they may put them on a leave of absence or whatever, but they're not suing the people. The people are suing the companies. So they have to protect themselves as an organization, as a company, because let's say Al decided to sue them for a hostile work environment. Even if they settle out of court, that's money that they're going to be having to come off of, either through the insurance policies or whatever, they have, that they don't want to do. So they have to do that type of stuff. And yeah, Al probably was gaslighting behind the scenes. I wouldn't doubt it. So I don't fault Armon for speaking his mind or whatever, but also people are going to look at him a certain type of way because of the history that he's had with the likes of the Jason Lees, the Cardi B's, even the Tasha K's, if people don't want to, acknowledge that. But I'm just saying, I have to just, say that as well. But anyway, I just wanted to share my thoughts on it briefly. You can let me know yours in the comment section. Thanks for being here, liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.